So, Coach Markiewicz, it's Jeremy Huber from the Final Drive. How you doing? Okay, can I give you a call back in maybe 10 minutes and do the interview then? Okay, sounds good. We'll talk to you then, Coach. Thank you. Hello and welcome in to another edition of the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber, your host for this weekly shindig. And, of course, it's the last week of the regular season. Some teams in their playoffs this week, but most in the last week of the regular season. And a big one today. We'll run down all the scores, and we've got some great interviews with some top coaches lined up on the show tonight. Remember, start things off. If you want to go ahead and get in touch with us, you can tweet us at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. We will have on the show tonight, we will be joined by the following coaches. Head coach of the Tuscarora Huskies in Loudoun County, their head coach, Mike Burnett. They get a big win tonight over powerhouse Briar Woods, 41-0. Go ahead and clinch a perfect regular season. Also, the top seed in the 5A North playoffs in Virginia. Also be joined by the head coach of the Blair Blazers, Dr. Andrew Fields. Coach Fields leading the Blazers to their first, clinching it tonight, their first playoff berth in school history. Blair opening up in 1935. The Blazers finally making the playoffs, and we will talk to Coach Fields about that big-time achievement. Also on the show tonight, we'll be joined by Hayfield coach Eric Henderson. Of course, Coach Henderson's crew, winners of 7 straight after a win over Edison tonight. They had that really tough opening slate where they took on South County, Centerville, and Westfield. Lost all those games, but put up good performances in them all, and boy, did it help when they got the National District play as they go ahead and win the outright National District title with a undefeated mark. So big for them. We'll chat with him. Also scheduled to be joined with head coach of Arundel, Chuck Markiewicz. Coach Markiewicz, nice enough to join us again on the show. Talked to him early in the season. Had a big game with Meade tonight. Arundel looked like they were probably going to make the playoffs, even with a loss, but Coach Markiewicz's crew with a big win tonight as they knock off Meade, the two times in a row, went to the state semifinals. Meade knocked out of the playoffs with that win, so we'll also set to check in with Coach Markiewicz in about 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll do all that on the show tonight, so make sure you stay tuned for it all. Quickly going to go ahead and run down our top 20 in the area, the All-Met Sports Top 20, the schools. A lot of schools playing tomorrow, but we'll run it down anyway and check in with what's going on. Number 1, Good Counsel, they're idle. They play next Sunday in the WCAC playoffs. Number 2, Westfield. Don't have a score in from that one yet, though. We're hearing that Westfield won going away against Chantilly. Of course, with a win there, the Bulldogs would go ahead and have the top seed in 6A North. I believe right now Centerville actually on top of them. Westfield beat them during the regular season. Bulldogs would vault over the Wildcats and take that #1 seed for a possible home playoff game if it comes down to it. Those two teams met in the 6A finals last year. Number 3, Damascus. They finish off a perfect regular season, beating Churchill 35-13. They're the top seed in 3A West. Damascus, that is, while Churchill gets knocked out of the playoffs in 4A with that loss. Northwestern at Eleanor Roosevelt. Number 4, Eleanor Roosevelt tomorrow, a 2 p.m. start there. Number 5, Douglas hosting Surrattsville on a 2 p.m. start tomorrow. Number 6, Northwest back on the winning track as they beat Springbrook 42-12. Northwest said to be the 2nd seed in 4A West. Number 7, DeMatha at Carroll tomorrow, a 2:30 start. That one at the Prince George's Sports and Learning Complex. Stags, believe, lock up the number 3 seed. They may have gotten it, or number 2 seed, the WCAC playoffs may have gotten it already, actually, now I think about it. But number 8, Gonzaga, they are taking on St. John's tomorrow, 5 p.m. start. That one to be played at Blair. Number 9, Centerville over Robinson, 55-14. A.J. Turner returned in that game for Centerville, had a big night. We may talk about that a little bit farther as we go, but obviously that could change things a lot. Turner, his first action of the season, been out all year with that broken wrist. Number 10, Broadneck, a win over Glen Birdie, 35-0. Broadneck, their first unbeaten season since 2003, unbeaten regular season. Number 11, Bullis, they beat Georgetown Prep in a close one, 34-26. So Bullis takes the outright IAC championship. They clinched the share of it last week with their win over Episcopal. Number 12, Quince Orchard, a winner over Wooten, 42-14. Quince Orchard takes the top seed in 4A West in Maryland. Number 13, Wise at CH Flowers. That one tomorrow at 2 p.m. Number 14, Hilton with a resounding win over Forest Park, 41-13. Hilton, that big win. Their only loss of the season coming against Stonewall Jackson when their standout freshman running back Ricky Slade was out. Of course, Hilton with a tough road to hoe when it comes to the playoffs. They're one of the few teams in the Northern Virginia area that actually has to go south. They play down in the 6A South region. Got a high seed there that I think they'll be around number 3. But obviously some of those tough teams down in the Virginia Beach area and the Richmond area as well, they'll have to contend with in their own region to go ahead and get out of that. So we'll see what the Bulldogs can do and maybe take on a team from the northern region once they finish things off. Number 15, Howard shuts out Longreach, 28-0. Howard likely to be the number 1 seed in their side of their region. Also, Battlefield a winner tonight over number 16 Patriot in an upset, 28-13. A backyard rivalry there, and Battlefield goes. The Bobcats get the win. Surprising one tonight, number 17 Tuscarora. We mentioned it before when we talked about Coach Burnett. The Huskies all over number 19 Briar Woods, 41-0. Husky wraps up a 10-0 season. They're the top seed in 5A North. Noah Reimers, their standout running back, around 300 yards of all-purpose yardage. At least that's what the report we have. Briar Woods takes their worst loss since 2006. Remember, the Falcons lost in the state championship last year, had won the previous 3, so a very big-time team in Ashburn and Briar Woods, but they've had a tough end of the season, knocked off by Potomac Falls 8-7 last week, and then shut out and blown out by Tuscarora. And of course, as you may have heard, I believe some arrests made in that assault case involving some Briar Woods players, so a lot of turmoil going over there, and as they're having some tough times right now as they fall to Tuscarora 41-0. Huskies probably would head up the poll at least a little bit after that impressive win. Number 18, Thomas Stone beats Lackey 28-6. It's Thomas Stone's first SMAC title since 1999. And number 20, Lake Braddock, a winner tonight over Lee, 47-20. Watch out for Lake Braddock. You look at their schedule and what they've gone through this season. Some injuries there. A.J. Alexander, the Ohio State recruit, out for the season. But you look at what Lake Braddock has done, and it's pretty impressive when you kind of go through everything. They've had some ups and they've had some downs. They against South County this season, they get the win against them last week, and I believe locked up their district championship with that. But you look at Lake Braddock, what they've done on this season, as I pull it up on my computer, they lost to Robinson, who's really had some trouble late in the season. They lost to West Springfield, but then they also have wins this year over Stonebridge, over Westfield on this campaign. They've also had the big win against South County last week. So you look at Lake Braddock, their team, if they play up to their competition, they are a dangerous team no matter what their seeding would be right now. They're looking like came into the night sitting at number 3 in 6A North, though they were right in front of Battlefield, so Battlefield may be able to jump them depending on how the PowerPoints break down. But Lake Braddock, again, have already played Westfield, beat them. Already, they're familiar with Centerville as well, so should be a dandy when it comes to the 6A North in Virginia, what we end up getting from that when it comes to things shake out in the playoffs. We're going to go ahead and take our first break of the night. Make sure you stay tuned. Set to be joined next by Arundel coach Chuck Markiewicz after his team's win over Meade tonight. Big win, really helping improve the Wildcats' standing in their playoff race in Maryland. Locked up a playoff berth, knocked Meade out. We'll talk to Coach Markiewicz in just a bit. Set to talk to him. Remember, if you want to go ahead and get at us, it's tweet us at DMVStream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. I'm Jeremy Hubert. Stay tuned. More of the Final Drive coming up right after this.
What's up, sports fans? I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.COM. DMVSTREAM.COM is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com. At DMVStream.com, we'll stream your verbal commitment live to our audience, viewable on computers, televisions, and mobile devices. Stream your college commitment live to the world. Let us know when and where you'll make the biggest choice of your athletic career, and we'll dispatch a producer. We'll handle all the technical, putting you in front and center under the brightest lights on your biggest day. You can blast your biggest moments to all your friends and family, as well as Facebook and Twitter followers. They can watch you make this choice live. Interested in having us stream your commitment? Fill out the form below and let us know how we can get involved. Remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. At DMVStream.com, we'll stream.
And welcome back into the Final Drive here on DMVStream.com. Again, a big night of high school football. Set to join us later on in the show, Tuscarora head coach Mike Burnett, also Blair head coach Dr. Andrew Fields, and Hayfield head coach Eric Henderson. All those coaches with some very big wins tonight. But we're joined now by the head coach of the Arundel Wildcats, Chuck Markiewicz, who had his own big win tonight as his team with a big victory over Meade. It really improves the Wildcats standing in the Maryland playoffs. Also knocked Meade out. Meade 2 times to the state semifinals last few years. We're joined on the phone right now by Coach Markiewicz. First off, Coach, congratulations on the big win.
I mean, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was it was pretty hard fought. I mean, it's a rivalry again, and we're really happy we came out on top tonight.
Yeah, what's the trophy you guys play for there?
It's the Jerry Mears Cup, which Jerry Mears was my head football coach at Arundel High School. And then he went open Meade in 1977, and I worked for him in the late 80s till he passed away, and I became the head coach at Meade. So it's pretty special for me to be able to play for a cup that's named after him.
Sounds like, and obviously you've got history with the schools. And, Coach, talk about the game tonight. Obviously, that's a very good Meade football team your team was able to beat. And after the loss earlier to Broadneck for you guys, you were able to bounce back and beat a good team. How proud of you guys were able to kind of show that the type of football they need to play to make a nice run in the playoffs?
Well, we certainly are. You know, when we beat Broadneck, see, we kind of break the season down into segments, and we thought that we needed to be at least in the second half 4-1, possibly 3-2. 3-2, we wouldn't have a home game. 4-1, we would if we went. You know, so we divided up like that, and we still had our goals. But after we played Broadneck, our kids were just like lethargic and listless, and I was shocked. I was like, what happened to their heart? It's like they got beat by Broadneck, and I didn't know who they were. And then we played Chesapeake, and we had 22 penalties, or 40 penalties in the game. We had 22 of them, and I just thought, you know, all the stuff that we worked for all of a sudden is going down the drain because these kids, they lost the football game. I mean, you know, that's where you learn things when you lose. And tonight when they came back, it was great. It was really good to see. It was kind of emotional for me playing for the Cup, and that too. It was pretty emotional.
Now, this one, again, as you mentioned, went right down to the wire. Victor Mack with the interception to kind of ice things for you guys at the end. Talk about that play and what your defense was able to do, getting a stop at the end when they needed one.
Well, you know how we got that way is they had taken the ball down the field on us, and they were inside the 10-yard line and fumbled the ball. We got the ball back and we punted it to them, and then that's when the interception was set up. So, you know, we gave them a couple chances, and that's one of the things that I was really worried about. I mean, we had a punt blocked again. That was 2 out of the last 2 weeks. We have a punt blocked, and it was just, I just didn't know. I really didn't know that team that was playing. But, you know, we got the ball back and went and took it down and scored, which was pretty clutch. Pretty clutch. I told him after the game, I said, you know, I questioned your heart for 2 weeks, but after what you did in that last quarter, I won't question your heart ever again.
Head coach Chuck Markiewicz of the Arundel Wildcats, big win over Meade tonight, 35-27. Obviously, you put up 35 points against a good Meade program. What were you able to do on offense and some of the guys that were able to do it?
Well, I want you to think about this. You know, we usually pass the ball about 35 times a game. In the first half, we threw the ball 4 times, and our leading receiver was an offensive lineman. We threw a screen, and it bounced off somebody's hands, and he caught it and rumbled for about 8 yards. So he was our leading receiver. We had a receiver that rushed for almost 200 yards in the game, Larry Barnes. See, one of the things we didn't do very well against Broadneck is we got behind, and we could have ran the ball better, we thought. And we didn't, but we got behind, so we couldn't do it. So tonight, I think what Dave decided was, you know, we're going to run the ball, which is, you know, that's not our trademark, but it was tonight. We rushed the ball very well. We scored 5 rushing touchdowns.
Is that something that you guys as coaches scouted and said, look, people are going tendencies against us, everybody's playing pass, and there's just these huge wide open rushing lanes and chances for us? Was that kind of where that came from?
Well, no, because sometimes they played 7 guys in a box, and you're not supposed to run against a 7-man box, but we still did, which is, you know, I have to look at the film. I'm still a little bit puzzled about how we did that. But if we can rush the ball effectively like we did tonight, then we have a true 2-headed monster, which and I don't want to use that term because I don't want anybody that's listening that we're going to play to go, oh, well, they're a monster. I don't mean that, but it's a lot easier for us to kind of dictate down and distance if we can run the ball as well as we pass the ball. So, you know, where we are right now, we're pretty happy with it.
Joined by Chuck Markiewicz, head coach of Arundel. Coach, do you know approximately who you think you're going to be playing next week in the playoffs? Yeah,
we're pretty sure because, well, North Point beat Westlake, so I think North Point will be the 3 seed and come to us because Ole Mill got in. They can send me thank you roses if they like. They're going to get in and go to Broadneck, I think. So, you know, we play a pretty good North Point team next week. So, you know, we have our hands full. We're not looking past them by any stretch.
Quick thoughts on North Point. Do you have to watch some more film to know, or do you know what you're kind of worried about going into the game already?
Well, we know they have a quarterback that's going to William & Mary. They have a corner that's going to Clemson. They got a lot of Division I athletes. So, you know, we don't. We just got average kids, and we're just going to have to play good team football, which we have. We did tonight in a big game, so, we're kind of looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, it seems to be one of your trademarks. You have a good team that plays team football and usually comes out on top of things, as you did tonight, knocking off Meade in your local rivalry there. Coach Chuck Markiewicz of Arundel, thanks so much for joining the show.
I appreciate your call. Thanks for the interest.
Again, Chuck Markiewicz, head coach of Arundel. Again, a nice victory for them over Meade, a good Meade football team. And you can tell, listening to Coach, they're really happy that his guys were able to bounce back after that tough loss to Broadneck, a blowout loss, really. But to come back and beat a good Meade football team, I think he would have to think that his team is ready to do some good things when it comes to the playoffs, which should be very, very tough playoffs out there when you talk about the region that they're in Maryland, 4A East. Broadneck, a good team, as he mentioned, North Point, Old Mill, some good teams out there, and should be interesting as we kind of come down into playoffs, exactly who shakes out of that and kind of moves forward into the Final Four from 4A East. We're going to take another break. We'll be back with some more scores and some more interviews, so stay tuned. You're listening to The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com.
All right, so today we're at the biggest longest-running MMA card in the D.C. area. We're taking in 4 camera angles, as you can see, on our TriCaster. We've got both close-ups on fighters. We've got a bird's-eye view. We're pumping the signal throughout the entire venue here at Echo Stage in D.C. You can watch the fight from all levels within the venue. We're pumping it through all of the monitors above the bars, as well as a 40-foot LED wall up on the back screen behind me here. We are pumping this throughout every monitor within this building so that there's literally no bad seat in the house. We've got our camera operators set up on the cage. We've also got ambient microphones run. We've got a play-by-play and color announcer for our recordings. We are also pumping that out within the venue. Also, you can rent FM headsets to listen to the play-by-play if you are actually in the venue. So just another great use for our live production crew at Synthesis.
And it's the end of the round, and I think
the fight's over.
He just stopped it.
Wow.
I mean, with 1 second left, in round number 2, Mercer catches Friedman with an overhand right.
Nice.
That's a powerful left kick to the face.
Oh, it's over. This one's over.
Is he out?
Yeah, that knee.
Jeez. Jonathan Escalona caught him with a knee. It's all over with. Wow. What a knee from Jonathan Escalona to Darnell Murphy. We probably ought to get the doctors in and take a look.
Your verbal commitment live to our audience, viewable on computers, televisions, and mobile devices. Stream your college commitment live to the world. Let us know when and where you'll make the biggest choice of your athletic career, and we'll dispatch a producer. We'll handle all the technical, putting you in front and center under the brightest lights on your biggest day. You can blast your biggest moments to all your friends and family, as well as Facebook and Twitter followers. They can watch you make this choice live. Interested in having us stream your commitment? Fill out the form below and let us know how we can get involved. Remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com.
Welcome back into the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber, your host. Remember, if you want to check in with us, do it at DMVStream. Hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream. Hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. Coming up later in the show, we'll chat with Tuscarora head coach Mike Burnett after his team's big win over the Briar Woods Falcons. Also coming up later on in the show, Hayfield head coach Eric Henderson, as his team completed an undefeated district slate this year with a win today over the Edison Eagles. Also, in just a bit, we'll run down our Maryland scores and get you updated on what happened over in Maryland tonight. Joined now by Dr. Andrew Fields, head coach of Blair. They clinched their first playoff berth in school history with a win over Whitman tonight. Blowout victory. First off, Coach, congratulations on the huge win.
Thank you. It means a lot. Appreciate that.
Now, got to go with the historical context of this one. You guys, your school, I believe, opened up in 1935, never been to the playoffs before. What does that mean to finally bring a postseason berth to Blair High School?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's only my second year at Blair, so 2013 was my first year. But I quickly have become acquainted with the community and the kids and the players, and I will tell you that it means the world to a lot of different people. The history of Blair is rich. You got many graduates and many celebrities and a lot of people who have emailed me and contacted me, and it's very deep. So it means a lot to me, even though I'm not necessarily a part of the last 70 years, 80 years. But just being here for a year and a half, you can feel the passion and the emotion in the community and the school.
Yeah, it looks like it's already blown up on Twitter, the fact you guys made it and are going into the playoffs. Obviously, tonight, situation where the kids could have felt some pressure maybe considering what was kind of on their rackets. Did your guys kind of have that look in their eyes like we're just going to go take care of business? Yeah,
there was an energy this week that really I haven't felt since probably week 2 against Sherwood. I think it's kind of felt like the kids were kind of going through the motions a little bit, kind of in the middle of the season, and a couple close games against teams that probably shouldn't have been as close as they were. And but this week you kind of feel the energy, and with Whitman being banged up a little bit and kind of out of things, I think that that little edge gave us that that lift we needed to get the big win.
Coach, talk a little bit about some guys who stood out for you tonight and helped you get that win.
Well, Jonas Blanco, you always got to start with him. He's our team captain, team leader. He's a linebacker, running back, and not a whole lot of conversation about him. But this kid is, in my years of coaching, he's probably the best pure football player I've ever coached. He's a workhorse that just never stops, offensively, defensively, and otherwise. DJ Henderson is a wide receiver, cornerback who kind of makes defenses kind of prepare around him. Was kind of opened up a lot of other things for him, and had an interception tonight, a couple catches, a touchdown reception. And then we have a sophomore quarterback who's really playing beyond his years, in Desmond Colby. So we're young. We're very young across the board, and these guys have stepped up big for us, not just tonight but all season.
Obviously, with the 8-2 record, you posted a turnaround, I believe, from 2-8 last year, correct?
No, we were actually 5-5 last year. We were 2-8 the year before I got here. We were 2-8, and then we got to 5-5 last year. A disappointing 5-5, I should probably add, in my mind at least.
Now,
what's
been the key to that turnaround? Obviously, you coming in, but a coach can only do so much. What do you think has been the key to kind of getting this program back to where it could be?
Well, I think like anywhere, from the NFL level right on down to high school, I think it's a mindset. I think it's first and foremost a mindset and just believing that you can compete with anyone. And beyond that, and what we preach as a coaching staff is it just works. I mean, there's no substitute for it. That's from a coaching standpoint, from the player's perspective. Work is just is what gets you where you need to be. Now, we're not anywhere near where we need to be, or hopefully will be, but it's certainly a nice first step.
Obviously, getting in the playoffs. Now, I wonder, you've got a nice, rich history. Obviously, you were coaching over at Northwest for a while as the defensive coordinator, then as the head coach. Then you went into administration, got out of coaching for a little bit. Is this kind of what you were hoping for when you jumped back into the sidelines to be able to kind of get a program going like you have at Blair?
Yeah, for sure. I think any coach will tell you at any level, it's 90% of it is just the competitive spirit. And when you get to the high school level, it's about the kids. You just love seeing these kids grow from little boys to men over their 4 years in your program. And then there's also the camaraderie with your coaches. Just kind of spending a lot of time with them for 4 or 5 months a year. And you put all those three things together, and it really it's special. It's memories that last a long time. I actually sat with. When I was an administrator at Gaitheysburg High School, I had a former player contact me. We went out to breakfast probably about 2 years ago. And we were a very mature, he's a man now. He's 22, 23. And we had a conversation. And it was after that day when I thought to myself, this is meaningful. And that was kind of when I decided to make the leap back into coaching.
That's awesome. One last one for you. Let you go, Coach, and you get on the bus and get back home. Obviously, you're looking at a tough first-round matchup. Either way things go, Northwest or Quince Orchard. Are your guys ready to kind of take on that challenge when it comes next week?
Well, they think they are, and that's all that matters. They will be ready. Now, that's I told the kids after our game. I'll tell them again all week long. That's a whole different monster now. That's a mountain to climb. But they will be prepared, and we will put our best game on the table. And I'm confident that whatever comes to that game, we will leave nothing on the football field.
Well, Coach Fields, congratulations on the win tonight. Blair knocks off Whitman 41-0 to earn the first playoff berth in school history. Dr. Andrew Fields, congratulations.
Hey, thank you for caring, man. I appreciate it.
Again, Dr. Fields joining us on the final drive a little earlier tonight, and very excited that his team was able to do what they were able to go out and do and get that win over Whitman and clinch that first playoff berth. And you think about just how long that has been for that school, and obviously not completely up on when the Maryland playoffs came in, but you talk about it's got to have been a long time. Blair's been around for a long, long time, and Coach Fields able to get that team into the playoffs. They have to be so excited, and obviously going to have a tough matchup ahead when it comes to whoever they play, be it Quince Orchard Northwest, or if they win and get past one, have to play the other, but should be a big, really exciting time for Blair as they get that big win tonight. Let's go ahead and run down our scores from Maryland. Start off with the ones in the top 20. Damascus, number 3. They beat Churchill tonight 35-15. Number 6, Northwest over Springbrook 42-12. Also tonight, number 10, Broadneck over Glen Burnie 35-0. It was number 12, Quince Orchard over Wooten 42-14. Also tonight, number 15, Howard over Longreach 28-0. Also number 18, Thomas Stone beat Lackey 28-6. Those are your ranked teams. Now to your unranked squads in Maryland public school action, that is. Start off in Annapolis. They beat North County tonight 52-7. Arundel, as we talked to Coach Markiewicz, the 35-27 winner over Meade tonight, and knocks Meade out of the playoffs and puts Arundel, moves them up, likely gives them a home game in 4A East. Glenelg, a winner over Atherton 34-2. Glenelg team will be heading on to the playoffs. Seneca Valley, a question on them whether they'll be going on to the playoffs. Haven't got complete word yet. Looks like Seneca, they got some of the things that they needed to happen. Urbana, they lost in their matchup tonight, but some came down to points and a few other things, so may not exactly know until all the games are done tomorrow. But the Screaming Eagles, they take care of their part of things and actually get the win tonight, that 53-0 win over Blake, as the Screaming Eagles get the win, had some chances actually help themselves earlier on in the season. Some tough losses, but again, they get the win tonight. Elsewhere, it was Chesapeake over Southern 38-13. Big upset as Calvert, a 2A school and one that kind of struggled on the year, they beat Chompington tonight 37-19. Chompington in the lining up as things were going, looking like a pretty good bet to get in the playoffs. Probably still will, but they were number 2 in 3A South behind Thomas Stone, but they may get passed by a few teams depending on how things go. Though one good thing for the Braves, they ended up getting help tonight from Thomas Stone as Stone beat Lackey, and Lackey was one of the teams kind of chasing. It was them and Potomac of Maryland trying to go up and catch up maybe and improve their status, but Stone with that 28-6 win over Lackey, so Chopticon may stay where they're at, but not the way you want to go into the playoffs if they're then. Another team to lose with rankings behind them. Paint Branch falls to Gaithersburg in an upset 29-28. Going into the night, Paint Branch was behind Howard in 4A North, one ahead of Mergenthaler, Sherwood behind them, so it depends. Paint Branch probably good chance they could stay where they're at, though they may have to go on the road. They should still make the playoffs, but not the way you want to do it if you're PB. Also, Friendly a winner tonight over Gwynn Park in a bit of an upset. As coming into that game, Gwynn Park was, I believe, high up in the playoff rankings as they were trying to move forward and kind of solidify their spot. Maybe you can get a home game out of the deal. Actually, no, Gwynn Park was one of the teams that was right on the edge. And Marriott's Ridge, who won tonight, they should get in the playoffs. So Gwynn Park was looking to get in, and the loss to Friendly doesn't help them. So they should be out. Hammond over Centennial tonight, 52-16. Sherwood tries to go ahead and lock down their position as they had a big win over Kennedy tonight, 33-0. Again, Sherwood coming into the night. As I scroll through, quickly looking at the Maryland site, checking this stuff out, Sherwood came in the night 4th in 4A North in points, just in front of Perry Hall and Catonsville. So obviously don't have scores in from them, but Sherwood could be going to the playoffs this year. McDonough over St. Charles 40-0. Marriott's Ridge, they grabbed their first playoff berth in school history as they beat Mount Hebron 34-0. It was Northeast over South River 35-30. Wheaton beat Northwood 35-22. Patuxent over Northern 44-29. Magruder beat Randallstown 27-0. Clarksburg over Richard Montgomery 48-0. Clarksburg locks up a playoff berth as they slide in 4A West. Churchill falling to Damascus tonight. So that helped out Clarksburg jump. They actually came in the night tied with Churchill. They go past. So it looks like Clarksburg going to take on Quince Orchard. And actually, early in the season, one of our first shows, we talked to John Kelly of Quince Orchard after that win. But Clarksburg played the Cougars really tough in that opener. I believe lost by a touchdown. So that could be a very interesting first game for Quince Orchard, as Clarksburg should have no fear as they go into that matchup after already playing well against Quince Orchard in that contest. Also tonight, some other ones to pass along. It was Reservoir edging River Hill 14-13. Poolsville beat Rockville tonight 27-24. Old Mill over Severna Park. Old Mill getting into the playoffs in their region as they sneak in 4A East. Also tonight, Suitland looks like they solidify their spot as Suitland in PG County was looking to jump into things. They're actually 4 coming into the night, though I believe C.H. Flowers plays tomorrow, so they could still have something to say about it. But Suitland getting the win over High Point tonight, 38-0. Bethesda Chevy Chase beat Walter Johnson 13-7 in overtime. It was Westlake falling to North Point 58-18. Blair over Whitman tonight, 41-0. Of course, you just heard from Dr. Andrew Fields about his team's big win and getting the playoffs for the first time in program history. Remember, the school goes back to 1935. Oakland Mills looks like they're going to head on into the playoffs as they beat Wildlake tonight 52-18. Also, it was Einstein over Watkins Mill 14-8. So that's your look at your Maryland public school action. We'll go ahead and get you a look at the rest of things as we move along in the night. One to pass along, we just got in Chantilly falling to number 2 Westfield 53-0. So the Bulldogs, they and Centerville kind of going into the playoffs on a very high note and playing good football as they may be on another collision course for that 6A North title as we move through. Remember, still got a couple more folks to hear from. We'll hear from Tuscarora coach Mike Burnett, also hear from Hayfield coach Eric Henderson. That's all coming up here on the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. If you want to get in touch with us, go ahead and do it. Tweet us at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive.
This is live streaming. We'll go on site. We'll actually set up our cameras, we'll set up a feed, and we'll beam that to our clients. One of their clients being WashingtonPost.com, one of our more recent projects. We actually live streamed a high school football player's decision as to where he was going to go play college football. We went early, we did a dry run, we did a walkthrough, we hooked up to their internet. We created the stream and we pumped that to back at WashingtonPost.com, where they broadcast that signal to thousands of people that were interested in watching that content. It was a very successful first few steps into live programming for major media organizations. We'll continue exploring it as we are now going out and doing live high school sporting events, college sporting events. We're also doing stuff for some of our private clients over at universities, streaming, lectures, all kinds of stuff that this new live programming technology will allow us to continue to make new steps in the multimedia world.
What's up, sports fans? I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.COM. DMVSTREAM.COM is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVSTREAM.com. What's up?
Welcome back into the final drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber. A few more scores in on the show so far as we roll through the night, taking you up to 11:30 as we try and kind of get you up to date on what happened tonight in the DMV when it comes to high school football. Top teams all coming away with wins. We try and figure out who is going to be getting into the playoffs. We may take a quick look at that as we roll down the show. Your upsets in the top 20 tonight, just a few. One of them coming in the matchup tonight as it was Battlefield knocking out number 16 Patriot 28-13. The other upset in the top 20 coming from number 17 Tuscarora as they were able to go ahead and knock off Briar Woods in a big time win for the Huskies, 41-0. We're going to hear from head coach Mike Burnett in just a second. Want to run through a couple more scores and get you up to date on some of the action in D.C. that we've just gotten in. Actually, one outside of D.C. Spalding, a winner over St. Mark's of Delaware, 28-12. Also tonight in D.C., kind of shaking some things out there. H.D. Woodson, they get a win. Big win over Anacostia, 44-0. Ballou, a winner over Coolidge tonight, 44-12. Eastern, a winner over Phelps, 39-0. They were trying to kind of sort things out when it came to the Stars division was already kind of sorted out. That was H.D. Woodson as the top seed. And I think with the win, trying Wilson also, we're hearing Wilson a winner. Don't have a score on that one. Believe Wilson with that win would go ahead and jump into the number 2 spot as they look for a Turkey Bowl rematch against H.D. Woodson. The Stripes division was one that was kind of a bit of a jumbled mess going into things. I think all the teams were actually 4 teams are actually tied, and depending on tonight's division or tonight's wins, you're going to see a couple teams end up with or a few teams. 2 teams actually tie for the top spot and kind of be co-regular season champions. So interesting to see what happens there. Maybe we'll shake that out as we kind of move things along. And actually, I think real quickly as I got it up on my computer right here, looks like coming into the matchup, believe it was Eastern and matchups tonight again, Eastern and Phelps, McKinley and Bell. And if Eastern with the win, they locked up a home playoff game. McKinley was looking to do the same tonight with their win. Don't have a score of McKinley yet, but we'll go ahead and pass that one along as soon as we are able to go ahead and get it and pass along to you, get you updated on what's happening in D.C. Later on, we'll go ahead and run down the scores from Virginia as well as we keep you up to date. Remember, here in the Final Drive, you want to tweet at us, do it at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. Joined now by head coach of Tuscarora, Mike Burnett. His team finishes off a perfect 10-0 regular season with a emphatic 41-0 win over Briar Woods. Coach Burnett, congratulations on the huge win for you guys.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Now, got to start things off with a guy really that's been your engine all season long, Noah Reimers, another huge night. I believe by some of the totals we're seeing around 300 total yards of offense. Talk about him tonight and what he's been able to do for you guys all season long.
Well, he's just, he's one of those special players that come out not too often, and, you're just really glad to have him. It's really not just what he does on the field. I think the great part about him is, really what he does off the field. He works harder. He'll be back in the weight room tomorrow morning and outwork anybody there. And, I think he just makes everybody play a little better. And I think that's what really makes him so special.
Yeah, Reimer's a guy that's obviously been the engine for you guys, but you have so many good players on this team, you can't be as good as you guys have been. I guess talk a little offensively about some guys really that have been able to kind of be around him and kind of keep things going on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, again, we've got so many guys now that we've got balance, and it enables us to, take a little bit of the attention off of him once in a while, and especially Daniel at quarterback and Jordan at receiver, and you know, and the offensive line was really phenomenal tonight. I think they really controlled the line of scrimmage, and that was the key.
We're talking about Daniel Smith, your quarterback under center. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball. Anytime you can take a proud program like Briar Woods, and shut them out in a game, you got to give a lot of kudos to your defense. Who are some guys that kind of stood out on that side of the ball and able to preserve that shutout?
Well, without a doubt, you know, our two guys up front, you know, David Chalmers and Will Larson, they were just in the backfield all night. You know, we were able to just send three and get pressure because they're just so difficult to block, and when they want to run the ball, they were really able to control the line of scrimmage. And, you know, our coverage was great, but those guys up front really what made it happen.
Now, this perfect season for you guys, obviously it's the first one in program history. How special is it to go ahead and kind of put a season like this up, and obviously with more hopefully coming in the next few weeks?
Well, it's really special because this is a group that's worked very hard. You know, I think that this is a product of 4 years of hard work, and you know they've taken their lumps the last few years, especially against Briar Woods, and they've matured, they've grown, they've worked harder to get better, and you know that's what makes it so great. Is when you get a group that works hard and they get the reward, it's really special.
Now, heading into the playoffs, you guys are obviously the number one seed. Some folks may remember you were the coach at Broad Run, took those guys to 2 state championships. Do you think it helps at all the fact that you've been through this before, maybe to guide these guys down the road of this is what we have to do if we're going to win a state championship?
I hope so, because I think that there's a lot of work to be done. It's a long haul. It's another 5 weeks if you can make it that far. And so I think also this group has been to the playoffs the last 3 years and getting a win each year. And I think they know what it's like. And I think they're going to come back tomorrow focused. And that's really the key, I think, for us is that we can enjoy this, but we got to put it behind us and start to refocus again.
Coach, one more before I let you go. I got to ask you, I played alongside your assistant, Adam Fortune, passed away this summer. What does this mean kind of for the memory of him? Obviously, those kids loved him so much to be able to kind of, I know they dedicated the season to him and able to kind of raise that trophy kind of in his name.
When we came over here, he thought this was possible. I mean, sometimes I'm a little pessimistic and think it's going to work, and we got to grind it out. And he was the guy who always was like, "No, we're going to win. We're going to win it all, and we're going to do it over there just like we did at Broad Run." And it's just it's so special to me and to these kids because he would love this group and he loved this game, and he it's really just a lot of it's testament to the work and the hours he put into, and we never forget that. And I just hope he's smiling watching the kids and proud of the way they played tonight.
Well, I hope so too, Coach. A real tribute to him and to you, this team, 10-0 season, and with more to come, hopefully, as you guys knock off Briar Woods tonight. Coach Burnett, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Mike Burnett, head coach of the Tuscarora Huskies of Leesburg. They wrap up the top seed in 5A North. Also, the Potomac District Championship division last year dominated by Broad Run, by Briar Woods. Expected to be the top teams. Tuscarora comes through with a big emphatic win over Briar Woods tonight, 41-0 to go ahead and get that victory. Let's go ahead and run down some scores from Virginia. Don't have them all for you, but we'll hopefully have them all by the end of the show as we kind of roll through things here on the final drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. Start things off over with South County. They lost last week to Lake Braddock, but the Stallions come back in emphatic fashion and beat Annandale tonight 49-15. It was Hayfield over Edison 28-10. Hayfield bouncing back from an 0-3 start, albeit against South County, Centerville, and Westfield to go ahead and run 7 straight wins off to win the national district title outright. Well, remember, we'll hear from their coach, Eric Henderson, coming up in just a bit here on the final drive. Falls Church over Stewart tonight, 34-16. Falls Church headed to the playoffs. Broad Run headed to the playoffs. They beat Freedom of South Riding 63-0. Garfield beats Woodbridge 35-21, ending Woodbridge's playoff hopes, I believe, in that one. They were shaky at best, and Garfield gets the win. Interesting one. We talked about Tuscarora having midnight in Leesburg. The other two teams in Leesburg, an interesting one, as it was Heritage upsetting Loudoun County 35-32. The Raiders of Loudoun County coming off their upset win over Loudoun Valley last week. Looked like that would propel them into the playoffs. Now not so sure with that loss. Depends on how things break down the rest of the area. But Heritage, and they actually may have a shot at the playoffs depending on how things break down. May be cannon fodder for a team like Salem, one of those tough teams down in Southern Virginia, but still be a playoff berth nonetheless. And Heritage gets another win over their crosstown rivals and putting a damper on the end of the Raiders season 35-32. It was Oakton, a 21-16 winner over Herndon tonight. Oakton jumps in the playoffs. That was a win you're in, lose you're out game. Oakton gets in. Herndon is eliminated as they were looking to go ahead and make their first playoff trip since 2008. Woodgrove wins the Dulles District title as they beat Loudoun Valley 49-7. It was also Langley over McLean 36-13. That was another one of those win you're in, lose you're out games. Langley headed on to the playoffs in 6A with a win over crosstown rival McLean. Also tonight, Wakefield getting the win. Don't have the score incomplete yet. We'll get you that one in just a second. Osborne, a winner over rival Osborne Park, 54-28. Nice end of the season for the Eagles. Champ, they're on a hot streak headed into the playoffs as they beat Parkview 43-7. Champ just in their third year of existence, but they're headed off to the playoffs this year. Potomac, Virginia, they beat Freedom of Woodbridge 14-0. And Potomac Falls, a win. They follow up their win over Briar Woods last week, beating Dominion tonight 27-20. So the Panthers will go ahead and jump into the playoffs and do it with a little bit of momentum on their side as they look for a nice upset win in the first round as they continue to build their program under Jason Allen. Potomac Falls, a team coming in really more known for their basketball program in Loudoun County, but they end up getting the win tonight and really improve their record. That'll put them going in at 6-4 and maybe even sniffing a playoff game. Don't think they'll get one, but they'll, depending on how things break, they may have a favorable matchup in the first round, so we'll see what the Panthers can do as four teams from Loudoun County will be, possibly even five will be in the top 8 when it comes to the 5A playoffs, so a lot of playoff action out where I'm from, out in Loudoun County. We're going to go ahead and take one more break. After this, we'll go ahead and we'll hear from the head coach of the aforementioned Hayfield Hawks, Eric Henderson, his team with a big win tonight as they wrap up a great regular season with a national district title, outright national district title. We'll hear from Coach Henderson right after this. You're listening to The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com.
Sports fans, I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.COM. DMVSTREAM.com is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com. What's up?
Welcome back into the Final Drive here on DMVStream.com. I'm Jeremy Huber. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, do it at DMVStream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. Joined now by Hayfield coach Eric Henderson, his team finishing off an emphatic run after a tough start to the season. Their 7th straight win as they go ahead and get the victory tonight, knocking off Edison and clinching an outright national district championship. Coach Henderson, congratulations on the big win tonight.
Thank you very much. We're really happy.
Now, I think most people, when they saw the early record for you guys, if they didn't look at the teams, they might have been a bit mistaken, but you guys had such an early, tough slate. I guess it had to prepare your guys for what's really become kind of, you guys are on a roll and hot as really anybody going right now, correct?
Yeah, I think it showed our potential, and those teams are really good, and the quality of coaching, the level of the program, it was something for the kids to aspire to. Credit to them, they never got down, they never got discouraged. They just kept coming to practice and working hard. So, I knew I had a good group of kids, and we had good senior leadership. But as we built momentum into our district, it really came to the forefront. I'm very pleased and I'm very proud.
Yeah, if folks that don't know, South County the first game, Westfield the second game, Centerville the third game. All those teams either have been ranked at some point or all the year. So an impressive early slate, but obviously you guys got better as you have gone and kind of gotten on a run here and won 7 straight. Talk tonight about some of the guys that stood out for you. Saw that Sheldon Isaac, your quarterback, with a few touchdown passes. Talk about him and the rest of what the offense was able to do against the Eagles.
Well, it was our first cold game, and we were having trouble getting a handle on the ball early. It gave up a turnover, and then we kind of settled down and got into our offense and started mixing up the run and the pass. And I think Sheldon's some of the intangibles of Sheldon are just good decision making. He knows how to distribute the ball. He's worked incredibly hard since last March to learn the offense and to make quick decisions. And I just felt like if we could get into a rhythm and get our tempo going, that he could settle down and at least play at the speed that we're used to. So, we were able to do that in spurts, but we weren't able to sustain that. And credit goes to Edison. I thought they played hard and did some things that gave us some problems. And we'll go back, correct those things, and hopefully learn from them and get better.
Now, you talk about that, and your defense able to keep things close, not let them get away until your offense kind of got their feet and blew things open late. Talk about the defense and some guys that stood out there with some nice performances.
Well, I think as a unit our defense has been doing that all year, just not breaking, bending, and forcing teams to really drive the length of the field and earn the touchdown. So, I think credit goes to our coaches. I think they do a great job on that side of the ball. And, we've got excellent seniors. Michael Cobbs, our weak safety, and our free safety, Jordan McIntyre, and, our strong safety, Montez Williams. I mean, Wilson, you just can't get outside on those kids. And, the fact that they're so big and so rangy, I mean, they help in the pass so well because they're so long and they can get, in the window and knock a ball down. And one of the things that we were hoping to develop was our defensive line, and I think they've started coming on and giving us the type of play that we need in order to stop, some schemes that we had trouble with early on, wing T and option. And I thought tonight they really put some pressure on the quarterback. Hassan Naveed, one of our defensive ends, and our nose guard and our 3-tech, Muhammad Boro and Abraham Torre, very undersized, but I thought they were physical, and I thought they played on the offensive side of the ball, and I just think we're hitting our stride defensively, and we're becoming much more consistent. So, that bodes well for us in the playoffs. You're going to have to play some defensive games.
Talking about the playoffs, Coach, obviously you guys, I believe, 6A, correct, as opposed to 5A, like most of the teams in your district, correct?
We're 6A, yes.
Do you think that early in the season, those games against those powerhouses, have your guys will be ready to say, look, we've seen this type of athlete before, it's not going to scare us, say, as opposed to maybe a school that may have played a lot of 5As, and then they get to the playoffs and go, whoa, this is a lot faster than we realize. Is that going to help your team, you think?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right in that regard. I think, the fact that we played the defending state champion and the fact that we played Westfield and we put points and yards on them, gives us confidence to go and face them in the second round or the third round. Obviously, we need to win the first-round game, and, we need to correct our mistakes and get better. But, I just think those experiences tend to give us a better frame of mind than walking in against a team that we haven't played. And I'll be honest, I mean, there's some teams at the upper level of the bracket that we haven't seen on film, and I don't know if we'd played especially well against them just because we just don't know. I mean, so, I'm not saying that we're going to go in and, take out Centerville, but I know the kids have no fear. I know the kids think that they can compete against them, and they're a fantastic program, and Coach Haddock does a great job. But I think the kids have enough confidence in themselves right now that we can make a game out of the next couple of playoff rounds.
One more, we'll let you go, Coach Henderson. Eric Henderson, Hayfield, his team with a win over Edison tonight. Their 7th straight win of the season. Obviously, your first year with the program, coming over from Lake Braddock. The kids there, what does the national district title mean for you guys, locking that up outright tonight?
Well, it's only the 5th district championship in the history of the school. I don't know if any of those district championships were won. We're done undefeated. I know that there's been great individual players that have come from Hayfield. I mean, Tony Mayberry and Larry Asante, and I mean you can go through the last 40 years and look at Hayfield as a very talented program. But I think it's good that our kids won the district this year. Our JV went undefeated in the district, and our freshmen went undefeated in the district. So it gives us momentum to, hopefully put together a nice solid run the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm just really proud of our seniors. I'm really proud of the kids I was able to work with this year, and I think the future's bright. And let's get to work, and hopefully we can win some playoff games.
Well, congratulations, Eric Henderson. Your Hayfield Hawks tonight with the big win, 28-10 over Edison, clinched that outright national district title. Again, Coach, congratulations on the season and hopefully some wins in those playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Coach Eric Henderson of Wakefield, the big win tonight with that pretty solid 7-game winning streak to end the season after that tough trio of games against South County, also Centerville and Westfield. We're going to go ahead and run down all the scores and look at tomorrow's action as well. We'll do that in just a second. Again, we're going overtime on the final drive. Stay tuned. It's all coming up next. Again, if you want to get at us, do it at DMV Stream. Hashtag it with DMV Final Drive.
DMVSTREAM.COM. We'll stream your verbal commitment live to our audience, viewable on computers, televisions, and mobile devices. Stream your college commitment live to the world. Let us know when and where you'll make the biggest choice of your athletic career, and we'll dispatch a producer. We'll handle all the technical, putting you in front and center under the brightest lights on your biggest day. You can blast your biggest moments to all your friends and family, as well as Facebook and Twitter followers. They can watch you make this choice live. Interested in having us stream your commitment? Fill out the form below and let us know how we can get involved. Remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. At DMV.
And welcome back into the final drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber, your host of this weekly shindig. Remember, next week will be our last show. We're going to go ahead and see what we can get done. It should be a wild one with all the playoff action going on. Try and keep you up to date on all the scores as Maryland and Virginia kick off their playoffs, and the private schools as well. We'll do our best to go ahead and keep you up to date on every single bit of it as we move through in the playoffs, and try and get you up to date on what's going on with that big first week of games where so many games going on. Remember, 16 teams per region in Virginia. Of course, you've got your 16 teams per classification in Maryland, so it should be interesting. Plus the DC public schools getting their games going as well. WCAC, they do it on Saturday, and that's where we'll go ahead and start our scoreboard right now as they start next Saturday. Good Counsel idle after taking home the #1 seed in the WCAC. They'll play next week in playoff action. We'll run you down the action tomorrow as well. It was #2 Westfield all over Chantilly tonight, 53-0. #3 Damascus beats Churchill 35-13. Damascus locks up their top seed in their area. Churchill is out. #4 Eleanor Roosevelt in action tomorrow against Northwestern. #5 Douglas, they host Surrattsville tomorrow. #6 Northwest all over Springbrook 42-12. Northwest will be at #2 in 4A West in Maryland. #7 DeMatha takes on Carroll tomorrow. It is #8 Gonzaga versus St. John's. That one could be for St. John's playoff playoff lives. Also some seeding for Gonzaga in that one. That'll be tomorrow as well. Number 9, Centerville. They beat Robinson 55-14. A.J. Turner for the Wildcats, 4 touchdowns in his return. Finally comes back from that broken wrist, but he seems to be ready to go as that rest seemed to do him good. Number 10, Broadneck beats Glen Burnie 35-0 to clinch their first unbeaten regular season since 2003. Number 11, Bullis over Georgetown Prep 34-26. Bullis claims the outright IAC championship. Number 12, Quince Orchard over Wooten 42-14. Quince Orchard top seed in 4A West in Maryland. Number 13, Wise in action at CH Flowers tomorrow. Some implications for both teams in that one. Number 14, Hilton beats Forest Park 41-13. Number 15, Howard shuts out Long Reach 28-0. Howard, likely the number 1 seed in their region. Howard, of course, over in their, as I look it up really quickly, I apologize, folks. Howard, don't have the top of my head. 4A North is where Howard is. So there'll be the number 1 seed, it looks like, there with Paint Branch losing tonight. Really, the only team that had a chance to catch him. Battlefield upset number 16, Patriot 28-13. Number 17, Tuscarora beats number 19, Briar Woods 41-0. Tusky wraps up a 10-0 season, also top seed in 5A North. Number 18, Thomas Stone over Lackey 28-6 to win their first SMAC title since 1999. Number 20, Lake Braddock over Lee 47-20. Elsewhere, Spalding beat St. Mark's 28-12. Friendship Collegiate over Silver Oak Academy 33-6. HD Woodson beat Anacostia 44-0. Woodson top seed in the DC Public Schools in the Stars division. Ballou over Coolidge 44-12. It was Wilson over Dunbar 32-15. Wilson, the number 2 seed in the Stars division. Elsewhere, Eastern big win over Phelps 39-0. They clinch a home playoff game. Elsewhere in Maryland, it was Annapolis over North County 52-7. Arundel beat Meade 35-27. Arundel likely be the number 2 seed in their region. In 4A East, Meade knocked out of the playoffs despite making the state semifinals the last 2 seasons. Glenelg over Athelton 34-2. Seneca Valley beats Blake 53-0 as Seneca Valley was looking to go ahead and jump into the playoffs. Still have to wait on some things for tomorrow before we completely know who is in and who is out there. Also, it was one DC game, a little straggler for us. Theodore Roosevelt over Cardozo 18-8. Also, one just in, Largo over Central 12-7. Chesapeake beat Southern 38-13. 2A Calvert beat Choppington, who was looking for a playoff berth in 3A. May knock them down a peg. Calvert wins that one 37-19. Also, Paint Branch upset by Gaithersburg 29-28. Paint Branch loses out in their chances for a top seed. Friendly over Gwynn Park 22-12. It was Hammond over Centennial 52-16. Sherwood bolsters their playoff case 33-0 against Kennedy. Leonardtown over Great Mills 40-22. McDonough beat St. Charles 40-0. Marriott's Ridge over Mount Hebron 34-0. Marriott's Ridge secures their first playoff berth in school history. Northeast over South River 35-30. It was Northwood beating Wheaton tonight. Wheaton beating Northwood, that is, 35-22 in their matchup. Also, Patuxent over Northern by a count of 44-29. Magruder beat Randallstown 27-0. It was Clarksburg over Richard Montgomery 48-0. Clarksburg, they go ahead and clinch a playoff spot with that win tonight. Reservoir over River Hill 14-13. It was Poolsville over Rockville 27-24 as they look to go ahead and bolster their playoff case. Old Mill beats Severna Park 20-0. Old Mill sneaks in 4A East. It was Suitland over High Point 38-0. Suitland looked like a good shot to be in 4A South in their playoffs as they've had an amazing season considering some of the challenges in front of them. Bethesda Chevy Chase over Walter Johnson in overtime 13-7. North Point over Westlake 58-18. Blair beat Whitman 41-0. We talked to their head coach already tonight. Dr. Andrew Fields, the Blazers, their first ever playoff berth in their program history. School goes all the way back to 1935. Oakland Mills, they solidify their playoff spot with a win over Wild Lake, 52-18. Also in Maryland action, Einstein over Watkins Mill, 14-8. Your Virginia action. South County beat Annandale. They rebound, winning 49-15. Hayfield over Edison, 28-10. Hayfield goes from 0-3 to start the season, 7-0, and win the national district title outright with that win tonight. Falls Church over Stewart, 34-16. Broad Run routs Freedom of South Riding, 63-0. It was Garfield upsetting Woodbridge, 35-21. Heritage upsets crosstown rival Loudoun County, puts the Raiders' playoff hopes in doubt, 35-32. Oakton over Herndon, 21-16. Oakton, that a win-in-your-in game. Oakton gets the win. They're in the playoffs. Herndon is out. Woodgrove wins the Dulles District title with a 49-7 win over Loudoun Valley. Just got this one in. Madison over Marshall, 36-0. Another one just in. George Mason over Manassas Park, 23-13. It was Langley over McLean, 36-13. Wakefield beat Mount Vernon 45-12, their best record since 1975 for Wakefield, and they will host their first playoff game in school history next week. Osborne upset Osborne Park 54-28. Champ of Loudoun County beats Parkview 43-7 to wrap up a very good regular season for them, maybe even a home playoff game. Potomac of Virginia beat Freedom of Woodbridge 14-0. Potomac Falls, they solidify their playoff spot, maybe get a home playoff game of their own as they beat crosstown rival Dominion 27-0. Stonebridge over Jefferson 53-8. The Bulldogs, part of a very wild and wacky setup when it comes to 5A and teams in Loudoun County. We kind of referenced it a couple seconds ago that Stonebridge, they're a group with Briar Woods, also with Tuscarora. They are a group of folks that really all going to be at the top of those Loudoun teams and may end up facing each other. Stonebridge already facing Broad Run of the season, knock them off. Could see some good action between all those teams kind of in that upper half of the 5A North bracket. Also, as West Potomac over T.C. Williams, 31-23. No score in for West Springfield and W.T. Woodson, though we have reports that West Springfield did win that matchup. Also, Yorktown a winner over Washington Lee tonight, 28-3, and it was Riverdale Baptist over Avalon, 33-20, as they take the CAFC championship. Your games tomorrow, let's run these down in order. John Paul the Great is at Bishop Ireton. John Paul the Great beat Bishop Ireton last week. They have a rematch this week. That's part of the VISAA private school state championships in Virginia. Other half of that bracket, Benedictine, they are the top seed. They play on the other side of things and should be interesting there. Of course, remember some of the teams that don't play in that. Episcopal doesn't play in that. Also, Bishop O'Connell doesn't play in that tournament. Duval takes on Laurel tomorrow. Duval looking to lock down their playoff spot if they don't already have it. Episcopal, mentioned them already. They're at Woodbury Forest. You'll be able to see that game. I'll be actually on the play-by-play if you want to go ahead and watch it. Same people that bring you this show on DMVSTREAM.com. Also bring you that game tomorrow at woodbury.org. There'll be a live feed of that one, so if you want to catch the action from Central Virginia, the 116th playing between those two teams should be a fantastic one as Episcopal looks to ruin their rivals' unbeaten season. Eleanor Roosevelt, they will go ahead and face off with Northwestern tomorrow. Remember, Roosevelt looking to improve their ranking, also looking to solidify what they have going on in the playoffs. I believe Roosevelt looking at a top seed with a win. They come in above Wise, so even without a win, they may be able to go ahead and get it as Wise. They're in action tomorrow as well. We'll see what they can end up doing against CH Flowers. Both those teams fighting for Flowers fighting for a playoff spot. Wise looking for a playoff home game as it's Roosevelt coming to that one at number 4. Also, it's O'Connell and McNamara. That one could have playoff implications in the WCAC if St. John's falls tomorrow. I'll talk about that in just a second. They have the tough one against Gonzaga. Oxon Hill is at Parkdale, another 2 o'clock start. Forestville hosting Potomac of Maryland at 2 o'clock. St. Albans and Landon in their old-time rivalry, 2 o'clock game there. Douglas hosts Surrattsville. Douglas, that's a 2 p.m. start at Douglas, number 5. Douglas there as they look to go ahead and lock up a top seed in their area. Douglas, of course, just in front of Oakland Mills. Probably have enough to go ahead and get by Oakland Mills. The Oakland Mills won tonight, so if you're Douglas, you want to take any question out of the equation and go ahead and get that win tonight. Elsewhere tomorrow, 2:30 starts for Bladensburg and Bowie. DeMatha hosts Carroll at the Prince George's County Sports and Learning Complex. That's a 2:30 start. DeMatha looking to lock down that number 2 seed in the WCAC playoffs. Also, Central faces off with Largo tomorrow in a 2:30 game. Fairmont Heights looking to lock up a playoff spot as they will host Crossland tomorrow. Wise at CH Flowers, that again a 2:30 start. We talked about the playoff implications of that one. Gonzaga and St. John's tomorrow as well. The Stags and the Cadets in their rivalry matchup. Quickly in that one in the WCAC, we kind of mentioned it. Good Counsel is the number 1 seed. They've already locked that up as they don't play again until that contest. Gonzaga comes in at 4-2 in conference play. DeMatha, they've only lost 1 in conference play, so a win would go ahead and give them the number 2 seed. Actually, even a loss would, because they've already beaten Gonzaga on the season, as the Eagles have fell a few times already, once to DeMatha. Also, their loss to Good Counsel. So DeMatha with the win, they're okay. Even with the loss, they're probably okay as well. Gonzaga looking to go ahead and make sure that they're no worse than number 3 with a win tomorrow over St. John's. St. John's and McNamara are tied. A St. John's loss and a McNamara win would get McNamara into the playoffs. They haven't been there in a good long while, so McNamara would love to go ahead and see that after McNamara, of course, beat St. John's a few weeks back, 31-15 in that upset. Looks like O'Connell out of the running, as they've only have one win on the season, though they've been some very close wins. Tough luck for O'Connell this year. You look at some of those games that they played. Went right down to the wire. Overtime loss against St. John's, a 1-touchdown loss to DeMatha. Got beaten pretty good by Gonzaga, then rebounded to lose to Good Counsel by just 2 points. So O'Connell really may be the best team 1-4 in their conference. And of course they'll look to go ahead and play spoiler for McNamara tomorrow. That one is a 7:00 game, going to be played at Blair. So after a big night for Blair, another big night of football tomorrow, as they'll go ahead and play that one, looking to go ahead and jockey out that position. And again, some bragging rights between the two of the schools in DC proper in the WCAC. Well, that's going to do it for the show tonight. It's been a very good one. Again, if you want to check me out tomorrow, I'll be on at the call for the Woodbury Forest Episcopal game. Should be a good one. The 116th playing. Make sure you tune that one in. You can do it at woodbury.org. Follow the prompts on their sports site. Quick thanks to our guests tonight, Tuscarora's Mike Burnett, also Blair head coach Dr. Andrew Fields, Arundel head coach Chuck Markiewicz, and Hayfield coach Eric Henderson. That's going to do it for the final drive, our final episode of the season next week. Make sure you tune it in right here on DMVSTREAM.com.